The Temple Mount is in our hands. We are in Jerusalem and we are here to stay.
For centuries, Jerusalem has been called the city of peace, yet its stones carry the weight of conflict, prophecy, and unending mystery. Above ground, pilgrims from around the world press their hands against the western wall. The call to prayer rises from the dome of the rock. Tourists walk the ancient streets, snapping photos of markets and mosaics. To most, the city feels timeless, unchanging, eternal. But beneath the surface, Jerusalem is very different. Hidden tunnels snake beneath the Temple Mount like veins, carved stone by stone across thousands of years. Some are natural caves, others are man-made passages, designed to hold the weight of something far greater than themselves. And in recent years, whispers have grown louder that these tunnels may hold secrets long buried, secrets tied to the First Temple, the Ark of the Covenant, and prophecies that still echo in the scriptures. And then, one report set the world buzzing. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu quietly visited one of these underground chambers, not with journalists, not with cameras, but with archaeologists, engineers, and rabbis. The question is, what exactly did they see down there? It began not in the Knesset or at any public event, but in a sealed stone room near the Davidson Center, just south of the Temple Mount. The meeting was quiet, the kind that rarely makes it into the headlines. Present were archaeologists, senior IDF advisors, rabbis connected to the Temple Institute, and even foreign observers from Europe and the United States. Spread across the table were ancient scroll copies, satellite images, and scans from ground-penetrating radar. One by one, the archaeologists explained what the scans revealed. Beneath the dome of the rock lay a massive stone platform cut into the bedrock. Its dimensions matched biblical descriptions from the First Temple period, the very foundations of Solomon's temple. The room grew tense. Some cautioned that any move beneath the mount would spark unrest. But one rabbi answered simply, "History will not wait for peace." Netanyahu, according to those present, spoke carefully. "We are not building over," he said. "We are building beneath. If we wait any longer, we deny history." Days later, without fanfare or press, the first steps into the tunnels began. What most visitors see of the Temple Mount is only a fraction of what lies below. The plaza above rests on layers of arches, vaults, and chambers. Some of these were cut in the days of Herod. Others may stretch back to the reign of Solomon himself. Netanyahu and the small team entered through an unmarked gate near the western wall tunnels. Guards waved them through silently. As they descended deeper into the earth, the air grew colder, heavy with centuries of dust. Their lights revealed rough, hewn walls, the marks of chisels still visible. At the heart of the tunnels, they entered a massive chamber, one that seemed almost out of place underground. Its walls were smooth, its blocks fitted so perfectly that even a knife could not slip between the seams. Engineers pointed to steel reinforcements recently installed to stabilize the ceiling. Ancient limestone and modern metal held the chamber in a delicate balance. Against the far wall stood a block unlike the rest, massive, polished, almost glowing in the artificial light. Archaeologists believe this was part of the original foundation platform, the very spot where Solomon may have laid the temple's cornerstone. Scrolls were unrolled on a portable table, not for ceremony but for comparison. Ezekiel chapters 40 through 43 describe a future temple in staggering detail, measurements of gates, courts, and walls. The team traced their fingers along the diagrams and compared them to the room's layout. The match was disturbingly close. Above ground, life in Jerusalem carried on. But below, prophecy was being measured into stone. For decades, explorers had whispered of a mysterious hollow space beneath the Temple Mount. Older scans dismissed it as natural. But new LiDAR imaging revealed something different. This was no random cave. Its walls were symmetrical, its dimensions precise. And it was sealed. The entrance was blocked by ancient stones, their mortar older than the Second Temple. For years no one dared disturb it. But now, under Netanyahu's watch, the team carefully cleared the debris. Each fragment was cataloged, scanned, and removed. Finally, the last stone was pried loose. Dust filled the air as beams of light cut into the darkness. The chamber inside was perfectly square, its floor sunken, its walls etched with faint markings no one could yet decipher. Silence filled the air. One rabbi whispered, "This matches the writings of the ancients." Netanyahu said nothing. His eyes scanned the room, weighing both its promise and its peril, because if the rumors were true, this was more than archaeology, it was sacred space. Perhaps even dangerous space. Among the archaeologists, one name lingered: Ron Wyatt. Decades ago, Wyatt claimed to have found the Ark of the Covenant hidden in chambers beneath the mount, sealed by divine design until the appointed time. Most scholars dismissed his claims. But now, the newly discovered chamber seemed to align with Wyatt's descriptions. Its location matched. Its dimensions fit. And just beyond it, sealed behind yet another wall, was a second chamber. The markings on that wall bore uncanny similarities to Wyatt's notes. No one spoke the word ark, but the thought hung heavy in the room. A senior rabbi finally broke the silence. "If this is here, it will not stay hidden forever." Netanyahu's answer was careful. "Then we will decide when the world is ready to know." For now, the chamber was sealed once more. Whatever lay inside would remain buried, at least for a time. While the tunnels stirred with secrecy, another part of Jerusalem had been quietly preparing for years. The Temple Institute, an organization dedicated to rebuilding the temple, had already reconstructed sacred vessels exactly as described in the Torah: the golden menorah, the table of showbread, the garments of the priests, the altar of incense, even the crown of the high priest. To the casual visitor, these objects look like museum displays. But to those who know, they are ready for use the moment a temple stands again, and whispers suggested that in recent months, some of these vessels had been quietly moved under heavy guard into secure tunnels near the western wall. If true, it meant the preparations were no longer symbolic. They were logistical. The pieces were being placed not for display, but for function. As one insider quietly put it, "This isn't rehearsal anymore." Of course, nothing in Jerusalem happens in isolation. When fragments of these underground activities reached foreign capitals, reactions were immediate. The United Nations warned that any unilateral move on the Temple Mount could destabilize the entire Middle East. The Vatican issued careful statements urging respect for all holy sites. Leaders in Turkey and Iran denounced the reports as desecration, promising retaliation. And yet, something unexpected happened. A small group of scholars from Saudi Arabia and Jordan released a statement suggesting that if the mosque above remained untouched, perhaps prophecy could be fulfilled beneath without violating sanctity. It was a shocking position, unthinkable just a few years ago. For Christians around the world, the whispers from Jerusalem carried different weight. In churches and Bible studies, believers turned to Daniel 9 verse 27, which speaks of a covenant, a pause in sacrifices, and a figure who would one day exalt himself in the temple. Others opened to 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 4, warning that the man of lawlessness would set himself up in God's house. The implication was chilling. If preparations for the temple were underway, even in secret, then prophecy itself was unfolding before our very eyes. Was this the generation Jesus spoke of in Matthew 24 verse 34? The one that would see all these things come to pass? No one could say for certain. But in the silence of the tunnels, each step, each measurement, each stone reinforced brought the world closer to an answer. Above ground, Jerusalem bustled as always. Prayers rose from synagogues and mosques alike. Tourists filled the streets. Life appeared normal. But below, in sealed chambers and shadowed tunnels, history and prophecy pressed against each other. A door remained unopened. A chamber waited. And those who had seen it knew that once revealed, the world would never be the same again. Netanyahu's steps echoed as he left the tunnels. He passed through the steel gates, back into the light of the modern city, brushing past reporters who had no idea what lay beneath their feet. That night, Lights burned late in Jerusalem's offices. Messages flew to foreign embassies. Prayer groups gathered worldwide. And somewhere, a rabbi unrolled a scroll and whispered words first spoken 2,000 years ago. Truly, I tell you, this generation will not pass away until all these things have happened. What happens next will not be announced. It will be seen. And when it is, it may already be too late to turn back.